to talk through the game.
Hello, I'm Dangerous. Also, my name is Dangerous.
Oh no.
I love that joke so much. You know what? Don't judge me. All right. On my couch is...
Hi, my name's Meta. I used to moderate Rage 2. I played any percent quite a bit. I touched on New Game Plus, the superior category, and then for some reason stopped. I don't know why, but yeah, New Game Plus is hell of a trip, so you're in for a treat.
Wait, Meta? As in twitch.tv/meta_live? As in Meta, the brand new community manager for Speedrun.com? That Meta?
That's correct, yes.
Oh my god, we have a celebrity on the couch.
All right.
I love messing with this guy. He and I are good buddies. We do this all the time. First of all, can we give some claps in chat for Funnup's Transistor run? That was a fantastic run. I love that game so much. That was an awesome run to watch. That was really, really cool. Rage 2 is next. This is a game. I'm gonna warn you right now. So when I reinstalled the game to start derusting, it has since been very, very, very unstable. We are probably going to get at least 2 crashes or soft locks at some point in the game. So we may go over time. I'm going to try to not go over time, but we may go over time a little bit. Luckily, this is the last run, so it won't be terrible, but I'll try to avoid that if I can, because this thing is a big mess. Now I'm going to click on the save slot, because that's how you start a New Game Plus game, and then it's a load screen, and then when you come out of the load screen, time starts. I don't really have a great way of counting you in for that. I'm going to do my best. There is like an audio cue, but it's not always super exact. The live split timer starts on its own, and that's how we keep track of it. But yeah, I'm going to try my best to kind of get you on the right spot. So
Get it close.
Let's go. And
the tension.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, so
that was
Phoenix.
That was pretty good.
But Phoenix is slow, and we have a freaking helicopter. We're taking the helicopter. I know it's more like a drone, but like just use your imagination, all right? So while I am on the way to the first arc, which is the name of the place that gets you upgrades, Meta, why don't you talk us through what exactly this run is and like how it works and all that stuff?
Sure. So if you're unfamiliar what the, I suppose, acronym of NG Plus stands for, it's New Game Plus. So we're basically playing on a fully leveled character here, and totally maxed out all the abilities and everything, which changes the route around a lot. Also cuts the run in, what, pretty much half, roughly?
It cuts a third of it out.
It's a significant amount. Also, like, basically all the what we're going to be doing to upgrade these 3 allies is going to be totally different from what the 80% route be. And what allies am I speaking of? Well, we haven't met them yet in New Game Plus, but we will. Essentially, to get to the end of the game, we need to upgrade all 3 allies: John Marshall, Lusum Hagar, and Dr. Kvasir. We level them up. What level is it to? I forget.
It's level 5, so you get them to unlock their second mission. So there's one set of missions they give you, like when you first meet them, and then you unlock a second mission from each of them.
Yeah. So essentially, you need to have completed all of their missions to get to the final mission of the game, like to get to the final boss, essentially. And we don't know of any other way to get their secondary missions without just doing their like filler objectives, essentially. So the route essentially is fitting in all the main quest lines where you can, which is like their primary missions, while also upgrading them with your secondary objectives, which is like I don't know, each of them has different things. So this Sentry, for instance, I believe
by the way,
Lusum
who
Hagar.
likes Doom? This is a BFG.
Another authority Sentry.
Such a weird.
We have a
BFG.
BFG.
So yeah, different things. So yes, that's Lusum Hagar, which, by the way, shoutouts to Rage 1.
I know why you're saying that, and that's also funny, but I'm also judging you for that.
That's okay. I'm all right with
Meta has a huge crush on Lucem Hagar in Rage 1.
I am okay with admitting that. Absolutely.
So this is the first like combat section. I'm missing somebody, but
Walker,
that's fine.
Listen, we're still gonna meet Mayor Lucem,
So,
right?
talking to the combat, how does the combat work in New Game Plus versus any percent?
Yeah, so the combat in New Game Plus, okay, so in any percent, you're mostly focused on your guns because you don't really have as many abilities. In New Game Plus, since we're a fully leveled character, by the way, every time that pop-up comes on screen, you'll see, like, the character that it levels up. This chest here, for instance, is going to level up the boss here. Anyway, combat, we're going to be heavily dependent on abilities, and especially with movement as well, we'll be dependent on abilities. All of New Game Plus is dependent on your abilities. For combat, we're looking for Slam and Shatter, essentially not for damage, but for area of effect, because those are the abilities that are going to be able to hit multiple enemies at one time. Obviously, clearing out multiple enemies instead of a single one, much faster.
Ah, shoot, I forgot to pull out the BFG before I jumped in the copter. Okay, so this is going to take me an extra couple
Better
seconds.
reset.
Yeah, we got to reset during a marathon. Great advice.
Yeah, so essentially, we are on our way to Wellspring, I think it is, the first town.
Wellspring is Wellspring is.
It's been a while.
I'll be honest with you. I actually can't remember the names of those things. Wellspring is the second one. That's the one where Hagar is.
Right.
First one is. I actually can't remember the name of it. It's literally not important for the speedruns.
Anyway, so we are on our way to the first sort of primary area we need to get to, and we're doing these like side quests and filler objectives to level up the characters along the way. When we first started routing this game, we seriously just downloaded a map of the game, put down like where we needed to go, and then we're like, okay, so what's the closest thing along the route that we can use to upgrade our characters? And that's pretty much how the route has evolved. There's some other elements I'll get into later, but yeah, essentially we look around, we see what is going to upgrade which character and which character we need to upgrade. At this point in the run, we need to upgrade all of them, so it doesn't really matter. But
all right, so we got a boss
what's
fight
the
here.
deal with the movement
This is a
here?
boss. The boss is dead. All right.
New Game Plus is wild.
The BFG is wild. This thing slices minutes from the run without having it. That's why we had to add a variable on speedrun.com, because if you don't have the variable for this, it's hilariously big, the delta between having it and not having it.
The BFG is DLC, by the way, so that's why we have a filter.
Pay to win. I mean, like literally pay to win. You have to pay for the DLC.
Yep. Pay to win. Yep.
I remember to pull the BFG for this one, so it's basically there's just a string of objectives along the way to where we go, and some of the same of the same locations we hit as any percent, but because we have a copter and we can fly around everywhere, you don't have the copter in any percent, so you have to drive everywhere. And anybody that's played this game knows how absolutely terrible the driving is, and you will see why that is in a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna have to focus because we got another combat section. So the first arc that we went to, the very first location, you just go to the arc and then you can just leave. This one actually has the enemies spawned in first, and there's no way to despawn them or get them to not show up first. So we have to actually kill them. Luckily, this one is pretty optimized. We have this fight down. Oh, by the way, I got a spy drone at the first Marshall location.
Oh, did you? I was looking for one of those, and I didn't see that one.
I got really lucky with that. So yeah, talk us through spy drones, because that's an RNG element.
Yes. So unfortunately, this game does have a little bit of RNG required for the world record. That's very nice use of that ability there, by the way. You can see the strength of that from New Game Plus. But yeah, so in order to upgrade Kvasir, which is one of those 3 characters that I mentioned, we need to do a variety of different objectives, but the spy drone is a random one. In the initial route, we didn't have any spy drones because we were just relying on, I guess, consistency rather than speed. So things like arcs and chests and data pads will all upgrade Kvasir, but so do these spy drones. all the previous things I mentioned, those are consistent. You can find those every single playthrough. The Speedruns are random, but they also are much, much more effective, which is a little unfortunate.
And I added them to the route. You're welcome, everybody. I ruined it.
Yeah, so Speedruns are, to give you some context, Speedruns are worth about 6 data pads or 2 chests. So if you see Dane interacting with those little arc chests, 2 of those, and that's like, what, 7 seconds for each of those chests? Not to mention you have to get to the chest. So the Speedruns save a lot of time. Like 14 seconds of interaction plus, obviously you don't have to, like, run to the chest, so probably around 20 seconds if you find a Speedrun, which is huge.
We've routed out these data pads so that we're grabbing them very specifically. Now we have to wait for an audio cue here before we try doing this. This is the first real skip of the category, and it's also an enormous pain in the butt. And yeah, I didn't think I was going to get that first try.
I remember this being a pain in the butt.
Oh my God! Second try.
Nice, very nice.
Don't be fooled. That skip is actually really tough to do.
Yeah, it's really precise.
And you have to be very careful in any percent to make sure that you don't die dropping down those pipes. But in New Game Plus, you have a much taller buffer of height that you can drop from, so it's completely free. You're very unlikely to die even if you drop straight down from the top. But it's we just dropped on those pipes to make it a little bit safer and to prevent a hard fall animation.
There's an arc down here.
Also, the interaction on these arcs is super weird. Like, you'll notice that he's not actually looking at the little center, what is that, a hexagon? The hexagon is what you're supposed to be interacting with. But the actual, like, point where you look at, I was going to say hitbox, but it's not really, you're not hitting anything. But the point you actually need to look at is, like, slightly below it. Super weird. And when you're actually playing, it gets really confusing. But you get used to it.
One of the abilities that you get is called Rush, and so you'll see me suddenly sprint, and you'll actually see my character model turn invisible for a second. Hold on, climb this! Okay. If you dash at the right moment, you can get past that guy without him staggering you. Rush is a very nice thing to have, but it is also really buggy in how it works. If you hit a pixel that juts out from the ground, your Rush is dead. And so you have to really plan out where you start it, or you're going to like hit a little bump and get nowhere. It's really annoying. So we've sort of routed this out, but there's just a little bit of RNG in it. It's kind of impossible to really set it up exactly where you want. Annoying, but yeah.
And so remind me, in terms of movement we have, so obviously we have Rush, which we just talked about, but there's also a dash. Is there something else?
Vortex. You saw me do that where I kind of like launched myself up. All right, this is a mini boss. This boss is extremely difficult. And the boss is dead. All right. New Game Plus is wild. So once he's dead, you just pull 2 levers and then turn that valve again. This is the sewage system, so all of that liquid spewing out is use your imagination. Yeah, and I'm timing these inputs, these interact inputs on very specific moments in the dialogue in order to kind of maximize time. You can start the interaction before the prompt actually shows up, but the timing window is like a couple of frames. And if you're just a couple of frames too early, you'll have to redo it, and you lose maybe a second every time you do that. All right, now we're going to go for HUD skip. HUD skip, it's not really a skip. It's more like, right now you can see the HUD on the screen. Sometimes when you go up this elevator, the HUD will stay there because it disappears when you enter a major city or major town, and it disables your ability to use your nanotrites. But if you have the HUD up, you can use them. Sometimes going up this elevator, you get lucky and the HUD doesn't disappear, and you can rush through and get to Marshall about 3 seconds faster. It's entirely random. We have no idea how to trigger it. It's just dumb luck if you get it. So we're gonna cross our fingers and hope.
She was killed in the attack.
Nanotrites, by the way, are abilities.
We didn't get it.
Ah, what a shame.
Your odds of getting it are very, very low, so it's kind of to be expected. By the way, this is a... Santa. War-torn Santa Claus. Also voiced by the guy who plays Jackie in Cyberpunk, if you played that game.
That's awesome.
It's actually weird. There's a lot of Cyberpunk actors that were in this as well. So, if I can get the hitbox for this. We gotta go.
Like
Sorry. We're gonna meet her a little bit later. You play the original Rage 1. You remember Mutant Bash TV? It's a required part of this run too.
Honestly, I found it to be one of the more fun parts of it.
I
Also-
really enjoyed it, but it is long, and we've
it
been
is.
looking for a way to skip. If we can find like skip, oh my god, we can cut
Oh yeah, that'd be
minutes
amazing.
out of this run. Like
Yeah.
maybe 10 minutes.
So there's some derbies, which is like races in this game, and there's also, of course, the Mutant Bash. We have those set up as ILs, and I think I spent a majority of my time running Mutant Bash. It's a good time.
These fights are pretty optimized. You got different waves of enemies. They spawn in the same place, but in random order every time. So you have to kind of keep your eyes open to see where they spawn in. All right, this next one's a little tricky because they kind of spawn from 2 different directions. Oh,
Also, by the way, the majority of this game, kind of just okay. It's mediocre. It's not a bad game. It's not a great game. The best part of this game, the gunplay. You know why? Because it was done by id.
and by id Software, the makers of Doom, and the rest of the game was made by Avalanche Studios, which is why the combat is good and the rest of the game is not. Right. So these guys just come out of these pipes, and they come out in a random order, and so I gotta kind of keep spinning back and forth to make sure I can. And they also come down from these side pipes as well. That one came in like really early.
Yeah, I think
But yeah,
if
this
you
is
watch-
entirely RNG, which direction they come from.
Also, they start coming up from above later on as well. I believe Noisy still holds the world record for Mutant Bash. If you watch him, he was like constantly turning 360. It's quite hilarious. Because yeah, you never know which side they're gonna come from.
I'm using the little skull thing on the. Wow, that was a really good wave. Holy cow! I'm using that skull as an indicator to make sure that like they're dead, because if you don't see that skull, that means they ain't dead yet, and you got to keep shooting until it is. This one is. So the first wave has 6 enemies. The first 2 always come out of this side. The second 2 always come out of the next side. The last 2 are completely RNG. So you just got to keep your eyes open. There's 5. There's 6. Next wave, same thing, except it's 8 enemies. So the first 2 are going to come out of this side.
Also, the music's a bop.
And then the last 4 are going to be random. You got to really pay attention. Also, the timing at which they come out is random. So you got some RNG for like, if you're hunting for an IL recce, you're going to be doing a lot of resets just on bad RNG timing. Now we got these guys coming out of the pillars as these ones come out, and this fight can get away from you pretty quickly if you don't cull these guys coming out of the pillars. Luckily, I am keeping control of it pretty well. This is going much better than it did at GDQ, that's for sure. My GDQ run, that arena got away from me. I kept actually really good control of it this time. And this is the last one. This one's fun because we'll get to use Slam for this one.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, so up until now, I mean, it's pretty much been the same route as New Game. Or, sorry, specifically speaking of Mutant Bash, by the way. It's been pretty much New Game, but now we get to use our abilities.
well, we've been using our abilities in all the combat encounters up to this point, but
Yeah, sorry, I mean specifically for Mutant Bash.
yeah, for Mutant Bash, it's 80% and New Game Plus are more or less the same up until you get to here. You can use your abilities in the first wave, but it's sort of tenuous whether or not that actually saves you any time. By the way, some of these guys, these mutants, are wearing masks of former U.S. President Bill Clinton. I don't know why. I don't know why. Also, watch this guy's health meter. So yeah, he's really tough. And if you listen to these muties, you'll see them at a couple other points in the run. Sometimes they'll say things like, "It's pizza time," and "I'm a pizza monster." I have literally heard both of those voice lines come out of their mouths, and it is fantastic. 333, that's not terrible. It's not great. That wasn't too bad.
So the ability that like makes your screen go pink and do way more damage, that's New Game Plus only, right?
I'll be honest, I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure, I forget what it's called, but I'm pretty sure that's New Game Plus only. Definitely speeds up that boss quite a bit.
Okay, this datapad is really jank. Its hitbox is super weird. Okay, let's hope we don't get screwed on this cutscene skip. I hate when this happens. So for whatever reason, that cutscene is bugged, and sometimes you can't skip it. Like the interact prompt won't let you skip it. And so you have to reload checkpoint or let the cutscene play out, and it's a long cutscene. There we go.
Flawless.
Perfect game. Also, we haven't gotten a crash yet, which is a good sign. Now you get to see why the driving in this game is so terrible and why every review that came out for it said, great combat, horrible driving. It was like almost basically every review was unanimous on it. It was the one time that game reviewers actually got it completely right.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone would disagree with that.
I'm resting my case right now. Also, this is like a very poorly programmed race because these guys don't have any kind of rubber banding feature. Nice, I landed on top of them. Mario, let's go. Not only do they not have rubber banding, if you get far enough ahead of them, they just despawn. So you'll see in a little bit, once I've pulled far enough ahead, there'll be pink dots up in the upper left corner on that little bar up there. Okay, Miss Lady, you gotta. This is a speedrun. You can't embarrass me in front of all these people. Ooh, I'm getting some stuttering. Okay, that's you. Okay, I think we might be okay. That's usually a sign that the game's about to explode on itself. But yeah, you'll see some of those pink dots just sort of lock themselves in place on the track. And I've never lapped anybody. I've never lapped anybody because by the time I would be able to lap them, they just disappeared. They're just gone.
Yeah, it seems like they just kind of gave up.
Yeah, like you can see those dots are just sort of, you just sort of stopped. Some of them did. Some of them are quite there. They'll be there in a minute. Also, some of the music in, dude, seriously, some of the music in this race is not BMCA safe. Luckily, we got one that's fine. But last night during my D-Rust run, I got one of the non-safe BMCA songs, and it's like, come on! It literally got my VOD muted one time.
That's wrong.
It didn't last night, which is odd, but it's fine. We're okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so while we are
another,
finishing up this race, Mr. Announcer, sir, if you have anything you would like to read out, go for it.
Unfortunately, haven't had anything in since the last break.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
But I'm happy to announce that all of the incentives that we have initially set are met, which is great. Thank you, everyone.
Very
you
nice.
can still bid for the day-night mode war on the stream graphics. So there's always something to push for. But it's all going to a good cause for SpecialEffect anyways. They do great work.
Make sure night mode stays. Do not let day mode get. Okay, 243. That's pretty bad. So this next one, this is not. We would not do this in a PB attempt or a world record attempt. But I really want to show it off. One, for marathon safety, just to make sure that we don't run things kind of tightly with Kvasir. But also, this is a really funny skip. So most locations, the very first one we went to being actually an exception to the rule. Most locations you have to either clean out all the enemies or all the enemies are there when you show up. This one is a little bit different. So we're going to do this very, very precisely because this is actually very, very tight. You have to come over to this specific spot in this rock. Oh god, oh god, oh god.
I believe.
Okay, we're gonna sink down. Okay, we're gonna try and keep our elevation as much as we can. We want to stay near the ceiling. We're gonna fly in, drop down, and we're at an arc. Normally, you have to go through a lot of enemies to actually open this one.
That's new since I last ran. That's cool.
Yeah, it's not really usable in the route though, because you rely on Speedrun RNG instead of this one. And if I can get into the arc, you can see what you unlock. A rocket launcher! A smart rocket launcher.
By the way, regarding like patches and arcs and stuff, so it used to be on the launch of the game, every time you would go into an arc and grab like a weapon or an ability or something, you'd have to do a tutorial. And I believe this was on New Game and New Game Plus as well.
Yep.
Then there was something, which is super weird by the way, but then there was something, thank you Avalanche, there was something we've dubbed the Golden Patch, which essentially made it optional for all the tutorials, saving something stupid like 20 minutes on the run.
It wasn't that much, but it was a lot.
It was a lot. Like, it was a solid chunk.
Item, there we go. All right, no drone here. That's okay. So this one is just got to destroy all the fuel tanks. But yeah, that was a dev-created patch that the developers made. They added a bunch of quality of life changes. There's an opening sequence that you do in any percent, or rather new game, that you skip right past. It's like the tutorial sequence. You skip right past that in New Game Plus.
Yeah.
And it used to be that you could not skip the dialogue in that section, and it was like a 4-minute cutscene that you had to sit through every single time. And they made it so that you could skip the dialogue. Oh, I was very happy that day. I popped champagne that day. That was glorious.
Yeah, that was huge for Rage 2 speedrunning.
So this skip is very difficult in any percent, and is
Not so
apparently very difficult in New Game Plus too, according to my inability to do it. There we go. It's actually free in New Game Plus. I'm just really bad at the video game.
Yeah, so we are out of bounds. There's very limited. We are limited in the options of out of bounds for Rage 2, just because they're not super useful a lot of the time. Here we can go out of bounds, hit a checkpoint, and go to the end. So that's super useful. You'll find you'll find 0 out of bounds when it comes to like the exterior, like the overworld. Not that they don't exist, but they are not useful, or they'll like soft lock you. Super unfortunate. But you'll see some interior out of bounds here and there. Fun fact, actually, you can clip out of bounds anywhere in the game if you have a ladder. You just climb the ladder and spam crouch. Not used in the route anywhere because there's just nowhere that happens to be useful for it. But it's like the easiest method to get out of bounds in any game I've ever seen. Other than just, walking through a wall or something. But seriously, you just mount it, press crouch a couple times, it'll like makes you remount it, I guess, and pushes you through the ladder, which usually is mounted to a wall and therefore pushes you through the wall. Found within probably 15 minutes of the game launching by Seeker.
Of course, it was Seeker. It's always Seeker.
If you don't know Seeker, Seeker has been a monumental glitch hunter and router, as well as super good runner of Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, the Dishonored games, Rage 2. He didn't actually end up running Rage 2, but
he didn't run Rage 2, but he found stuff in it.
Yeah, he did find a couple different out of bounds. So
he is the modern day Tuval of first-person shooter games. All right, so here we got a cutscene. They expect you to stay in cover, but that's slow. So stand up.
Stand up and fight, soldiers.
Coward! You cowardly! They didn't die from the shot, but they died from being flipped over the railing. That's amazing. All right, so we cleared out all the enemies outside. Now we're gonna get ambushed by some dudes in the elevator. You can see right here, but now they're all dead. Fish in a barrel is a really good way of putting it. We're gonna run around, grab data pads. These data pads are worth points to upgrade Kvasir and hit his level 5 target, and then we'll unlock his second mission that way. Kvasir actually has a third mission for us. But I'm sure that doesn't mean that he's gonna like do something insidious or anything that would get us killed. That doesn't sound right, right? Kamasu's totally trustworthy, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. He's fine. It's an extra mission. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Also, remember, so you saw Dane pick up quite a few data pads there. Remember that 6 data pads is equal to 1 spy drone. There was 1 spy drone that could have spawned, like before we did that skip, that would have allowed Dane to skip these data pads here. He did not get that spy drone. So, that's RNG for you.
I'm running around grabbing a few more. Luckily, we are looking pretty good on these. Now, we're going to meet a side character. And this is a very long cutscene section, so we'll have time to banter about and act like doofuses during this. So this actually requires a little bit of finesse to navigate this part. Now you all have Gordon Ramsay out in Great Britain. We have Guy Fieri. This is Wasteland Guy Fieri.
Need no introduction. Now you've already heard of how I took my father's legacy into
So
this
the
guy,
as it goes, he is actually part of the lore of this game. His dad used to be the mayor of the city that we're in now, and then Lusum Hagar became the mayor after his dad passed on, and yeah. So we have a very long cutscene here that we have to sit through. I one day sat down and rewatched this cutscene and timed it on every language. See if there was any language differences, because they actually give you quite a few language differences, which is very, very nice.
It's easy to swap between them, too.
Yeah, they're very easy to swap through. They are all exactly the same amount of time. So I watched this cutscene like 9 times for nothing. And it's a very long cutscene.
Do you know, you're quite familiar with like voice actors and stuff. Do you know who this is voice acted by? Is it anyone familiar?
I do. The voice actor for this, I cannot remember his name, but if you played Doom Eternal, he was one of the Hell Priests in Doom Eternal. True story.
Being rich not enough for you?
True story.
Something bigger.
You ever have a question about voice actors in games and similarities between IPs? Just ask Dangerous. Actually, you won't even have to ask. He'll probably just tell you.
Yeah, he just looks like Guy Fieri. I don't think they ever intended for him to look like Guy Fieri. He just does. But no, it's not voiced by Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri doesn't really do acting stuff, at least as far as I'm aware. All right, we're coming up on the end of the first part of this cutscene. We have to do one of those quick interact prompts. We're waiting for the word globby.
Oh, right. Hold on a second.
By the way, a significant amount of effort has been put into skipping this cutscene.
I was not actually on the hitbox, so I totally messed
Extra
that up.
globby!
That was entirely, yeah. Extra globby!
Classic. Yeah, so a lot of effort been put into skipping this cutscene, and 0 success, unfortunately. Also,
we have not found a way to do it.
Okay, so as much luck as we had originally with patches when the golden patch came out, since then, unfortunately, this elevator has been lengthened for whatever reason. I don't remember the exact number, but like randomly, it's just way longer now. So we have to down patch.
Yeah, it was like 8 seconds longer on later patches, and I don't know if they're trying to load stuff in, but it feels like it's like they're speedrunning our game. Let's make this elevator longer. Honestly, I don't know if that was why, but it sure feels like it.
I doubt it. Yeah, it just seems like the weirdest.
I doubt it too, but it really does feel like they targeted us on that one. So yeah, here we find out that Clegg was a bad guy.
Wow,
like nobody saw that coming. And we're in an elevator, so I mean, nothing bad's gonna happen. The elevator floor is certainly not gonna fall out, and we plummet to our death or anything like that. That would be insane, right?
By the way, the Authority. I don't think we mentioned the Authority.
Oh yeah, we didn't explain the Authority at all.
If you play New Game, so we're running New Game Plus. New Game, you actually start it in like a town area called Vineland, and it gets taken over by a group called the Authority. The Authority basically is just this giant not alien, but like they're from the past. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like
It's
cyborgs or something. It's not really ever made super clear what they are. They're just kind of like cyborgs.
It's interesting. The story of Rage is essentially like there's these things called arcs, which you'll see have been like we've been getting abilities and weapons in from. But arcs were used to store people, and I think they're called like arc survivors or something. I forget exactly. Arcus. So we play as an Archist. The Authority is like remnants of the old government, I believe, and they essentially tried to keep the Archists inside the Ark because they were supposed to like revamp the world once the apocalypse was over. So they tried to keep them in the Ark without luck. And so the Authority is bad. that's basically what we're
they're like a cyborg race that's trying to take over and become a tyrannical government and wipe out humanity so that they could have... Oh, wow, I have never missed that jump before. That is the marathon luck right there.
I found a tank. Predator. Authority issue.
Squeeze through. Yeah. But the long and short of it is, regarding the story, it doesn't matter. like just don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
It's not a good story.
Shoot the baddies and just
shoot the bad guys and oh, I used up my second shatter. I didn't even realize it. The shatter is really nice because these guys that have got like a ton of armor on, it just knocks all the armor off, and once you upgrade it, it usually will kill them automatically. There you are. Waiting for an audio cue. There we go.
Did you see the T-pose?
Yeah.
Oh,
the T-pose.
Strike team is in the tower, standing by.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get that in this game. You just get random T-poses. Make sure to target those guys first. So there's enemies in this elevator, and now there's no enemies in the elevator.
They're gone.
they're gone. There's parts of them though. There's pieces of them left. The combat in new gameplay. I mean, granted, I am playing on easy because easy is fastest, but yeah, yeah.
There is, I forget what it's called. It's like an Ultra Nightmare. It's like
there is an
Iron
Ultra
Man
Nightmare difficulty in this. It is horribly unbalanced though.
Yeah, because everything hits Kane, isn't it?
Not everything. There are projectiles.
He took off in his copter.
Oh no.
Where's he headed?
Oh no.
Okay, we hit 5 with Kvasir, but the pop-ups are not showing up, and that is usually the sign of a soft lock. So we're gonna see.
Is there a solution to that?
Configure save files before the run starts.
Did you do that?
I did.
Oh,
there's 12 save slots available. I used 11 of them. Okay.
This game's really good.
Oh, he's soft locked. Hold on. This happened in practice too, and I don't know how to avoid it.
So imagine this: you're on world record pace and get soft lock because Kvasir just said, "Nope."
Okay, the projects are unlocked. The prompt's not here. I'm gonna load a save just to be on the safe side because I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't feel good about that. So I'm gonna play it safe because that could be a soft lock later on.
That's marathon luck for you.
Yeah. Okay, so basically we're right where we would end. I was about to do the any % route for a second. So that's basically we went in there, talked to her, we'd leave, and then end up right here. So we have to finish off Marshall's upgrade, so we're gonna drop a drone and fly right over there. This will give us the final bit that we need to finish upgrading him. There is a fat soft lock here that is, I mean, it's easy to avoid, but if you don't know what you're doing, you will accidentally do it on your first playthrough. So I'll point it out when we get there.
Also, there's a drone spawn here. Although, I mean, I guess we don't really need drones at this point.
Well, the drone is upside down, and that's, believe it or not, that's actually a good thing. We actually want that drone to be upside down, because when it's upside down, it takes off faster. Oh, speaking of drones. Don't ask me why. It's a very odd mechanic, but we just need to. Dude, you gotta get out of my way.
That's unlucky that you got a spy drone right after you upgraded Kavasi to level 5.
Yeah. In a world record attempt, I would actually delay just grabbing data pads, and I would cross my fingers that a spy drone showed up here. And if I didn't get one, I'd just reset. Like, literally, that's how crappy it is. Oh, hot in my room. All right, so this is another boss fight. And the boss is dead. Are you noticing a pattern here, chat? Please, let me through.
Have you figured out why we split the BFG versus no BFG yet?
Yeah, a little bit. So from here, you could fast travel. You could fast travel over to Marshall. If you do, use soft lock. So instead, we're going to get in the drone upside down and take off very quickly. Again, no clue why that works. It just does.
That was quicker. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's very dumb. So sometimes you can set up dropping the drone in like such a way where it is upside down, but it's really tricky to do, and if you don't get it quickly, you're not really saving any time. So you actually have to fly over here manually just so that you don't end the dialogue early. Why am I flying that way? I don't want to go that way. I don't want to go that way. By the way, that is common. That actually happens sometimes. All right, so there's a bridge that extends here. That's slow. We're gonna just jump across because that's fast. We have to wait for the door to open.
Yeah, so I think this only ends up saving like a second or less because you still have to
probably
wait
not
for the
even
door to
that.
open.
Probably like a quarter of a second.
But it's free, so you might as well.
It's free. So this is not terrifying. His name is Legs.
Solutions.
Hi,
Kavasi
Legs.
can't walk, so Legs is his legs.
No. Yes, of course.
So long dialogue section, we skip all of it. And then, so basically we're just going into these places and meeting these people in order to trigger their missions. So it's like this kind of annoying downtime that you have on the run. I have to get to about here before I can fast travel. Because you can't fast travel just from anywhere. You have to be in certain places. They don't let you fast travel from like inside certain buildings and whatnot. All right, I almost went the wrong way for a second. So we hit level 5 with Marshall, so now we're going to go meet up and get his next mission set. There's a character that was in, come on. There's a character that we met in a cutscene that we skipped named Gulo. She's gone missing. Oh no, hopefully she's fine. Hopefully nothing bad happened to her. Anyways, so we have to go find her.
They died just fine.
We go in that area cutscene. He's just like, yeah, she's gone missing. Go find her. So we do all that, and now we actually can take off here. Now I remember to equip the BFG for this one. Drop another drone and fly away. Now keep in mind, this is New Game Plus, so we get to fly everywhere. If this was any %, we would have to drive everywhere because we can't unlock the Icarus, the drone, in any %. So you have to drive everywhere. And you saw just how terrible the driving was. Imagine doing that for an hour and a half.
Yikes.
Yikes. And I'm grateful that this is in here. There are some weird mechanical properties with the drone. They don't like you having more than a certain amount of distance away from the ground, so they kind of lock your maximum height.
Also, if you're a non-WSD player, this totally sucks.
Yeah, so I normally play on ESDF. Those are normally my movement keys for most games. However, Avalanche did not program the key rebinding properties in here properly, and so if you try to fly the drone on ESDF, you can't, because 2 keys are hard bound together, but the other 2 aren't.
Yeah, so you get some. It's like a weird mishmash. So when your keybinds while you're walking, like your regular like combat movement stuff, does support ESDF, and I believe the vehicle does as well. But yeah, with the way that the drone here is hard coded with keybinds, you can't. So you either use ESDF. What I did, I used this weird combination of like ESDF and WASD. So I had, if I remember correctly, when I was flying the drone, I would use S and F to like turn it and stuff, but I would still use W to fly forward. So it was like the weirdest combination.
That is
definitely don't recommend
weird.
that. Yeah, it is. I don't recommend it at all, but I was like super stubborn, hoping that they would just like.
I literally switched back to WASD for this run only. So I run any percent with ESDF, but I have to run WASD with New Game Plus.
Ugh. I think that's worse.
This game is wonderful and has no flaws. All right, so here's Gulo, and oh no, Gulo's dead. Well, let's just reach in her stomach and pull out a tracker. Don't follow the story; it's not good. This is pretty sad.
Sorry, Gulo.
But this is actually a spot where it's very easy to soft lock if you die and checkpoints hit. So her little dialogue thing here that plays on that little tracker needs to finish out, and if you hit a certain trigger before it's finished and then die, you get hard locked into her playing the dialogue over and over, even after you load a save. I have a save file just in case that happens. But yeah, like this game will soft lock on you if you blink at it funny. Like it's not very well programmed. All right, so we got to clear out a bunch of enemies here. They're dead. We just need to get this. Oh, it opened. Nice.
Also, the sound design. I don't know if id or Avalanche did the sound design for like the weapons and abilities and stuff, but it's good. It's good.
Okay. We're not supposed to climb that ledge, so we're gonna climb that ledge. You're not supposed to be up here. This is not allowed because we're now out of bounds.
It's got the coordinates to the
An Avalanche saw us do that, and they changed one of the platforms that we used to get around up here, and we found a faster way to do it because of them.
Thanks, Avalanche.
So we actually have to wait for this whole thing to finish out because I need to wait for a specific dialogue trigger, and we have to let this conversation play out. It's very, very annoying. Yeah, you can actually get punished for going too fast.
Let us get you proper access. Press
Cool.
palm to hand scan.
We just have to wait for him to say made it, doc, and then we load checkpoint, and we just skipped 4 minutes of gameplay. Literally 4 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's like I forget exactly. It's like a wave thing that you have to.
You just have to
get in
navigate the whole
lobby.
space center. You have to go up every level, fight a bunch of enemies, open the next door, fight a bunch of enemies. It takes a long time. Going out of bounds, hitting the trigger line from out of bounds, and then reloading in will fix that. And you can't do that early, or you, say it with me, soft lock. Drives me nuts. Okay, so we have to wait for this ecopod to come down. Now, when this thing hits the ground, it's going to knock you back and stagger you. It's part of the cutscene, and you can't move during that. But there's a really funny thing you can do. If you sprint at this window when it happens, you can fall down the mountain, and you can see in the bottom right corner, I'm clipping through the mountain. It gains or saves or loses no time. It literally has no effect on the run. It's just a really funny graphical glitch that they kind of borked. And you can't gain or lose any time on this either, as long as you get to this elevator before the doors open. So it's very hard to pick up time in this section, just given how much you have to wait for certain things to go.
Elevator's still working. So far, so good.
We have one more thing one more location we have to clear out in order to finish off Lusum, and then the rest of it is just completing the rest of the missions until we get to the end of the game. Nice, I got the fast interact.
You have found it. Turn it on and let me handle the
Gonna
rest.
stop and grab some ammo real quick.
Supercomputer will soon
So we powered up the ecopod. Everything's going great. Definitely not going to get ambushed by authority sentries or anything like that. Leaving here. Nah, that would never happen. Oh, hey, look, authority sentries. So this guy's very large, but luckily I have a way of stopping him from being a pain.
I'll take care of him.
You can stun lock him with the rocket launcher. And he's dead.
If I remember correctly, the way that this works is because of the splash damage of the rocket launcher. It doesn't work with any other weapon.
Yeah.
But because of the splash damage of the rocket launcher, you're actually hitting both of the weak points at the same time. which puts him in that like soft lock state.
The Authority mutants are no longer a threat.
So they didn't draw his character model correctly, and you can stand all the way on top of his hitbox. Like, they didn't lower it. They fixed it in a later patch. I don't know why. It doesn't affect anything, but they made his hitbox actually lie down when he falls over. But in this patch, it's just a tall hitbox, and you can stand on top of it, and you can teabag him from up here.
Spider-Man's recommended, too.
Yeah, basically. So we have to wait for this dialogue sequence to finish off before we fast travel, or we, say it with me, soft lock. I don't run this game competitively anymore for a reason. All right, so now we finished off that sequence. We're going to fast travel back to the first Marshall area that we cleared out in order to get closer to where we want to go, because you can replay locations on the Golden Patch. But we're not going to replay the location. We're just going to drop a drone and fly away. Oh, God. Okay, we're good. Yeah, you have to be careful with how they rubber band the distance that the copter is from the ground. It's not... They hard bind you to the ground a certain distance, so it's less of like an air vehicle and more of just like an extra roadway that you can traverse in the air. It's very weird. Dang it, I hit a rock and lost my rush. So this part is a little optimization that I found that's very nice. You double jump, slam, and the door's open. This guy can get out of my way, thank you. Luckily, believe it or not, there are no soft locks in this room. I have looked, there are none. Nice little thing there. I haven't split manually in a while.
Looks like those assholes did the job for us.
Nice, I got the fast interact there. These fast interacts, I have only literally like a couple of frames of difference between getting them and not getting them. By the way, does anybody like money? Money! We have to wait for this door to be cut down, and then we're trying to get the fast one. Nice. We just kind of run by the enemy that spawns in there. I'm going to double dash to get far enough out, and then I can fast travel back to Marshall. And his icon showed up, which means his mission cycled. We didn't get soft locked for the first time ever.
Yay!
Yeah. So we just have to run in, talk to him, and then we're done with Marshall until the end of the game, or rather the last mission, I should say.
I don't want to curse it or anything, but we are like a good chunk through the game and have not crashed yet somehow.
We are. Now that little blip of, we probably should have said photosensitivity warning. Sorry, but yeah, that's a very annoying thing because you'll turn around to grab the stairs and oftentimes you'll miss. Okay, I have to go to Kvasir now. I'm gonna show you just how dumb this is. So pretend I'm zoomed in right now. This icon is right over the fast travel point. If I hit F to fast travel, I get taken to the log screen. So you have to like kind of do this over and over. Luckily, one of my community members, Jab, who is sitting in chat, big shout outs to Jab for this, found if you drag it over and then zoom, the icons flip and you can fast travel. That would lose us sometimes 30 seconds in a run. Just icon layering. Literally,
Thanks,
you could lose 30 seconds. So humongous shout outs to Jab. That's not even a speedrun tech. That's literally just a quality of life thing. Even if you play the game casually, that's just a nice little thing for you to be able to utilize. That was the day he showed me that. I was like, I could actually kiss you right now. That is brilliant, brilliant,
yeah,
brilliant little bit of
improvement.
tech. So we have to come in here, talk to. Oh, come on. Have another very long conversation with him that we skipped through, but there's more cycles in it, so it takes longer to skip through everything. And then we're going to go to the desert. But somehow you have every climate in this one map. Don't ask me how. So we go to Oasis. I'm going to remember to pull up the BFG because I will often forget that. You have to travel an inordinately far distance away from the city before you can actually drop an Icarus. And we're going to get our last location from Lusum here. I'm still going back and forth on which method is faster because they seem to be honestly the same. What I've taken to doing is I fly over,
approaching the genetic
Just
research
ditch the
station
vehicle.
in the Dune Sea.
Good, good.
Fire that midair, and then rush my way over.
Protocol. Found there
No.
in case of crisis. Plan to use hostile arc-
How did that miss?
That's weird.
I have never seen that miss before.
Likely that this
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
that should-
marathon.
That does happen.
It's a
Yeah.
marathon.
Don't waste any time.
That is so weird. I have never seen that miss before.
Yes.
You saw the crosshair was red when it launched.
Hey, Walker.
That was really weird. All right, this is my favorite weapon in the game. Also, shout out to Jab for telling me, hey, you might be underrating this weapon. This thing's stupid powerful against authority tech, and he was right. It's
Yeah, I don't think I used this.
yeah, it's a new game plus one.
It looks so cool.
It looks like the Gauss cannon because id Software designed the weapons in this game, and so they made one that looks like the Gauss cannon.
Like, yeah, dude, that looks cooler than the Gauss cannon, I would say.
It does kind of look. It does look pretty cool.
That looks so cool. I want that in Doom.
It doesn't act like the same way the Gauss cannon does in Doom. It behaves
yeah.
very differently. Basically, there's no reload, but you have to charge up the weapon, so you fire it to charge it up. And once you hit that little red bar in there, it becomes, well, you'll see in a second at the boss fight. So we have another sequence break here. Hopefully I don't get rail boosted, Kappa. Okay, there's, I got void warped, crud. This is really inconsistent. Sometimes you can avoid getting load warped if you land on the right spot. There we go.
So yeah, we got another out of bounds here. Super good. Super
This
amazing.
gets a very long segment. This is probably the biggest sequence break of the game. So watch his health in the upper right corner. This thing's a little bit broken.
Oh my god.
I'm going to actually slam these guys to clear them out. So he has different phases. Between each phase, these things spawn in. You have to break him to close his shield off. And then we cycle his next phase. This is not terribly difficult.
What a shame that like the gunplay in this game is in this game.
And it's done. But we're gonna watch this cutscene because it's really, really funny what happens in this cutscene. Normally, you'd obviously skip this in an actual like PB attempt, but I love this cutscene so much. So this is where we find out that General Cross, this guy, can clone himself seemingly infinitely unless we do something to stop the cloning process, which is what we're working toward. And so we killed him here. With his dying breath, he creates a new clone of himself. And in order to stop the cloning process, we need to get a DNA sample. Cotton swab of his cheek, an eyelash would be
Maybe a
fine.
hair.
Maybe you could pull out a tooth. Lots of ways to get DNA samples. What's the best DNA sample, though? We're gonna take his entire head. Was that necessary? No, it wasn't. It was. Wow, my rush got nerfed. It's not necessary at all. But I didn't write the game, so yeah. So this door has got a really weird trigger, so I'm going to actually go slowly to get through it. Sometimes you will like dash your way to that door, and it will hit scan bonk you. You have to back up to go back over the trigger line before it'll let you walk through. It's really annoying. It'll lose you a couple seconds if you try to rush that. So I'm just doing marathon safety stuff here. How many that's never happened before have we had so far? I think
Like 5 or 6.
oh, it couldn't have been that many. There's no way. All right, so we saved all these people. Now we're gonna ditch them. Walker, the Ranger, you're here. I'm out. Later, y'all. I'm in a speed run. There's a timer running. Live Split says I gotta go. So we rush out of there. I have to go really far away from that thing to unlock the fast travel point. It's really dumb. I don't know why it takes so long, but yeah. So we just did I believe that was the third mission. I actually forget which missions counts for which time frame. Can I rush? Thank you. Rush was not triggering for some reason. Now that skipping the bridge there actually does save a chunk of time. Actually saves a few seconds.
Because the door's open, yeah.
Like maybe 5 seconds. So we are going to talk to Kvasir. We're going to put Cross's head in here, and then we are going to get a vaccine. Totally not a relevant word in 2021, am I right? So now that we've gotten his, so that was his 3rd mission. Oh yeah, we had to do 2 extra missions for him instead of 1. A little sneak. There we go to Wellspring because we finished off Lusam's last little location upgrade, so we have to start her last mission. This one's actually going really well. Like so far, I mean, aside from that one soft lock, this is actually going pretty well. My practice runs did not go so well.
I mean, it's a win that it hasn't crashed, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm surprised because when I was configuring save files, I soft locked the game twice and crashed 3 times. While I was doing save file stuff, combinated crashes and soft locks 5 times. We've only gotten 1 so far, right? So skip a lot of dialogue here. Oh god, that scared me. Her icon was not moving. I was like, no, don't you do this to me. I've got a save file just in case, but like, come on, please don't make me do that. How am I doing on BFG ammo? Actually, let me need to check that real quick. I would normally not stop to check, but I just want to make sure. Where's... Oh, resources. I got 2. I'm going to need a couple more. So I'm actually going to make a quick pit stop at the store because the one drone or sentry ate my 1 round. Jerk. All right. So we're going to fast travel to Dreadwood. Normally, you go straight to the outside of Wellspring and drive this entire thing, but we have a closer fast travel point, and we can fly. So that is what we're going to do. So I'm going to show off a little funny bit of tech here. This will soft lock your game about 70% of the time. How many? New drinking game. Take a shot every time I say soft lock. I'm gonna show this off because this is a really funny bit of tech, and we're actually making really good time. So I really want to show this off. So we have to actually fly over. Now sometimes you'll miss a trigger. It's kind of rare to miss this, but if you do, you have to just back up until you hit the dialogue trigger. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me make double sure. Okay, we're good. We had to wait for that dialogue prompt. Now, the front door is right over there, and it would be insane if you could just, like, you know, fly through the wall.
Nope, not yet. Keep looking.
You can do that, but it will typically, the triggers are set up in such a way where you'll soft lock, so we're actually going to go the long way around just to be safe. Literally just a safety precaution. You're not supposed to go up here, but this takes you out of bounds. Going to switch to the rocket launcher.
It's super weird how like inconsistent the triggers are, because sometimes they're just like, do whatever you want, and then other times it's like, no, you're gonna do this exactly as I want you to. Nice. I remember whenever I would shoot a rocket, sometimes that it would just not blow up one of them.
Nasty.
I'm going to just check for some ammo. We have to wait on this one because it doesn't show up until later for some reason. Alright, so this is just marathon safety. I'm going to grab the fission core through the glass, through the capsule. Very, very weird graphical glitch.
Yeah, so essentially, there's an animation that plays out where like the whole thing opens up and reveals the core to you so you can grab it. But it doesn't actually restrict you from grabbing it during the animation, so you could just do it and then just...
Yeah, the interact prompt in the hitbox for interacting with it just show up when that animation starts, so you can just pull it out and no one's going to stop. Now, Judgy actually found a skip for this a little while ago. If you die here, you soft lock and you have to reload an old autosave in order to avoid that. A little bit of a problem at 8%, not so much of a problem in New Game Plus. We're pretty tanked out. But it can happen. Judgy got tired of it and he decided, screw this, I'm finding a faster way to do this. So he found a faster way out of here. I don't remember what it is, and I didn't actually look it up. We're gonna ram our face into this corner, and then we can fast travel back to Wellspring.
No.
By the way, it was Gun Barrel was the name of Marshall's.
Ah, that's what it is.
Gun Barrel. Yeah, I forgot to. Don't feel bad.
I was thinking of Rage 1 because Wellspring is in this game, but in Rage 1, it's the first town you go to.
Yeah, it's also like the main town of the game.
Yeah.
So we are about to start the last mission. I just have to talk to Lucem and we're good.
Sweet.
Surprised this. I was fully expecting this run to just go belly up at some point because like all my D-Rust runs were doing that. I just got them all out of my system, I guess, before this.
Maybe you were just like belly up buffering.
All right. So we want to get this cutscene. Now I've actually had it happen where the game will both finish and not finish that cutscene at the same time. And so you'll both finish the mission and not finish the mission, which means you'll both have the tank and the game will think that you don't have the tank. And
Schrodinger's tank.
So you can't actually start the last mission and you are, say it with me, soft-locked.
Yay.
You're noticing a pattern here. Okay, so we're gonna fast travel back to Dreadwood because this is the fastest way back. It's only faster by about 10 seconds, but you know, it's time. Drop a drone. So there's only 2 segments where you're actually in a ground vehicle. The Chazcar Derby race was the first one. The last one's coming up here in just a second, and luckily this next one is not a terribly long sequence, so it's fine. But it is also it can be run killer depending on kind of how lucky or unlucky you are with where your shots land on the landmines that we're going to encounter. What? There's landmines? Yes, there are. Just pay attention. You'll see. And then the trees are very strange here. The topmost branches do not have collision. The trunks and the bottommost branches do. So I'm sort of avoiding the lower trees. But when you get to the top ones, like right here, there's no collision. It's fine. You can just fly right up. Okay, and we're in the right spot. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see which direction you're actually in. So this is where we start the last mission. We're going to ditch the drone. That's the last time we see the drone. Say bye, Icarus. Bye, Icarus.
Bye-bye.
I strongly suggest you
Now, chat, you know it's more fun to drive? Dang it, I did not mean to spawn an Icarus.
I knew that.
That was
Check it.
habit. Let's spawn in a tank instead. And now we do what's called the tank run. So we drive on up. We're tricking the Authority into thinking that this is actually General Cross in here. But here's the thing. It's actually not General Cross. It's us. It's us. Can you believe it? It's us. We're in the tank. If you follow me at twitch.tv/danejerus, DANEJERUS, expect more sarcasm just like this. So we have to sit through this cutscene. It's not skippable. There's nothing we can do to get past this. By the way, my PB is going to be finishing the run in about 2 minutes.
A little fun fact, a little useless fun fact, you can actually clip through the right side here, even before doing any of the missions or anything, but it just totally breaks. And you would think, well, why don't you just clip right now? But then you don't have the tank, so...
Yep, and you need the tank to get through here. Or
Yeah.
you don't need the tank to get through here, but you probably won't survive to the end if you don't have it.
Also, so it's really weird because someone, like, while that was found and, like, people were testing inside here, there's these things that shoot at you, and if you're not in the tank, it, like, totally blinds you. Like, your screen just becomes entirely white.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was found, like, at launch.
Yeah, so technically, I mean, if you find a way to get to the end with, like, triggers working and stuff and without the tank, we do have a way to get to the final boss, but it doesn't really work.
It used to work on... or are you talking about a different skip?
I just mean, like, basically skipping to the final boss from the start of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Technically,
Yeah.
you can clip into here from the start of the game, but, like, you can't.
Yeah.
You
There's
can, but
nothing
you
spawns
can't.
in. It's busted. There was a skip on 1.0 that let you skip a whole fight, and then they patched that out almost immediately. But then luckily, the golden patch came out, and that more than made up the 2 minutes you lost here. So if you're rammed up against these things when they lower, the tank will flip over. Ask me how I know that.
How do you know that, Dangerous? Yes, to those things.
Yeah, I may have had an upside down tank at one point. So I'm trying. I have to clear this. This tank run is extremely RNG heavy, and I'm gonna actually take this dude out just to be on the safe side. Oh god. Okay, we're good. I had a laser on me. I thought it was gonna get hit.
I couldn't remember what it was that blinded you, but yeah, it's those like white laser things. So if you're not in a tank, the enemy tanks will like point that white laser at you.
Oh god.
Just totally blind you.
Oh, this is bad. Okay, we hit a checkpoint. Have to take out these landmines. We got 2 tanks up here. Can I avoid? Oh, cool. I missed the tank entirely. Let's. I'm dead. I'm stuck. I'm stuck on the tank.
Oh,
and now I'm out of bounds.
Oh yes.
Okay, it's fine. When you hit the checkpoint, you actually come back with full health, so not a big deal. But let's try and avoid this tank hitting me again. There we go, poggers. I'm squeezing my way through here. You have to hit these landmines, or they will do a massive amount of damage to your tank. And we just have to get to the end of this spot, this roadway here. We actually should be okay if I could just run past it. All right. Pray for left side. Pray for left side. Walker, left side, Walker. Damn it, he got out on the right. Always like that.
What changes that? Do you know?
It's RNG.
Fun.
At least if there's an actual trigger, we don't know what it is. Oh, not what I want. So we have to run to the next area. There's a fight that's going to keep us from getting to the next area, so we have to do this fight. He's died, thank you. So once this thing is like kind of shooting at max capacity, that dude just yeeted himself over. This thing can kind of 1 or 2 shot most of these enemies. So I'm literally just flinging cells of these guys in order to take them out. You have to kill certain trigger enemies to get that panel to work. And then from here, we shatter this guy, slam these 2, and we have to wait for these elevators to come up on the side. I'm gonna stop, make a quick pit stop for things. If you drop down here too early, you'll either die or quick load the next area. Please do not do that, whoever you are. And we have to push this panel and then ride the elevator down. And put invisible walls up around this entire platform. Except for one spot. So if you climb up on this box and just walk over the edge, you can drop down, and that saves 12 seconds? Something like that. Okay, we're going to slam to hit this guy. We're going to overdrive, and overdrive will not overheat this weapon. Thank you, Jab, for that little tidbit. So we can just kind of flatten everything here. You have to kill every enemy to get this door to open. Okay, we're going to just make a quick pit stop for ammo. I didn't get the ammo I wanted. That sucks. I'm gonna rush through here. Oh, I'm getting echo on his dialogue. We got one more of these big dudes, but it's fine. Because you'll remember we can stun lock this guy. Try to get through quick, nice. By the way, on harder difficulties, this guy's a pain. But on easy mode, he's a joke.
Can you stun lock in the harder difficulties?
Can't hear a word you're saying.
Can you stun lock in the harder difficulties?
You can stun lock him, but he can recover before you do enough damage to stun lock him. Oh, yes, the mechanic's still there, but no, it's not enough. All right. You normally have to ride this elevator up, but if I... Crud, I don't... You saw me, I looked down and it put it on there.
Yeah,
okay, that's fine. That's fine, I can do this. It's a little bit slower, but it's a nice little backup to avoid that. And now we're going into the final boss fight.
All right.
We're going to go a little bit over time, but we came pretty close to the time frame. So this is the final boss. He is mechanically stupid and annoying. So we're gonna fire 2 rockets. We're gonna fire right in between those 2 cells on his arms because you can actually take out both at the same time. And I did. Do the same thing here. Nice.
I honestly prefer this ending to Rage 1 ending.
Yeah, this is an
boss
actual boss fight. Rage 1 didn't really have a final boss fight.
Yeah.
So we're going to pull out the pulse cannon for this. I'm going to time this when I throw my grenades here very carefully. That's no god, that's a wing stick. That's a useless thing. Oh, I did not plan that well. Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna just send these guys over the edge. Now phase 2 begins. Phase 2, we pull the rocket launcher back out. Okay, now we gotta get his shoulder batteries, or whatever you want to call them. And these things require an enormous amount of ammo to take out. Oh, crap, I didn't get the 1 cycle. That's fine. I'm going to... I got his right shoulder, but I was shooting at his left one before. Oh, I actually didn't have splash damage on the other one. Nice. So that's the 2nd cycle done. I'm gonna reload. We're going to pull the pulse cannon back out. This part's fun, because these guys are gonna spawn right at the edge. So if you're fast enough, you can slam and just yeet them right back over.
Weird random note, but I really like the model of the rocket launcher, but the sound effects sound really weak.
Yeah, I agree. The model, it looks cool, but it's really...
It doesn't sound punchy enough.
Alright, so these guys are big and scary, but so am I. You jab for that one too! Jab's giving me a lot of little optimization tips over time, and time is coming up right... now! Time! GG's everyone. That was Rage 2 New Game Plus. For only going a little bit over time, I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought I was going to go way farther, but this run actually ended up being pretty good. We're going to watch this little bit of this cutscene real quick. So just read the subtitles. You'll thank me later.
Were you timing that with live split?
Oh.
This is...
Go for it.
I can cheat you of your revenge.
We're going to inject him with the virus.
Every time. Nope.
Extreme Pain. Give it up for Extreme Pain as the subtitle, everybody. Give it up. Extreme Pain. It was put into the subtitles. What does Extreme Pain sound like?
That, I assume.
I just think that's the funniest thing. Yeah, I was timing that. I actually forgot to manually finish the split, but it was 111.54, I think.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's not great. My PB is a 105, and that was like my god run. I don't think I can actually beat that time. Yeah. So we don't have to watch the rest of this cutscene. It's not very good. There is a really fun little soft lock you can do after the credits, but I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Thank you all so much for watching. As I understand it, we met the classic level Doom speedrun incentive for tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow evening for you, morning for me, running Doom 2016 Legacy Redguard, and we'll be following that up right after with a classic level speedrun. So you'll get to see 2 speedruns for the price of however much the incentive was. So I will see you all then. Have a great day 2 of the marathon, and I will see you for Doom 2016. Thank you all so much.